संयुक्त किसान मोर्चा and किसान मजदूर मोर्चा spearheading Delhi Chalo farm protest rejected Monday a proposal by the centre for a 5-year contract with farmers to procure maize, cotton and pulses, tur, masoor and urad dals at minimum support price through cooperatives and promote crop diversification. SKM's Jagjit Singh Dhaliwal and KMM's Sarwan Singh Pandher reiterated their demand for a legal guarantee of MSP on 23 crops following a C2 plus 50% formula of profit over input cost. While Piyush Goyal, one of the three ministers to have attended fourth round talks with farmers Sunday, praised government proposal as out of the box and emphasized its potential to encourage crop diversification to improve groundwater levels in Punjab, Dhaliwal and Pandher liked it to contract farming. After consulting protesters at Shambhu and Kanori border point between Punjab and Haryana, the two announced plans for farmers to resume their march towards Delhi at 11 a.m. Wednesday. Over 20,000 protesters have been camping at these locations. UP had shared the baggage of the past in 7 years of BJP's double-engine government, trading red tape for red carpet to woe global investors, PM Modi said Monday while launching 14,000 projects collectively valued of rupees 10 lakh odd crore. I offer special congratulations to CM Yogi. Every Indian is proud that UP has decided to become a $1 trillion economy, Modi said at UP Global Investor Summit. 7 of the 8 years ago, crime and riots were common, and no one could have been believed that anyone said UP would be this developed. The PM said the state's progress was in the line when how the world now sees India as a guaranteed destination for better returns. Laying the foundation stone of Kalki Dham in UP Sambhal, PM Modi said the wheel of time has turned for India. As an aside, Modi said in today's age, if Sudama gave rise to Krishna, a video would go viral and a PIL would be filed that the Lord Krishna had been bribed. Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal on Monday skipped ED's sixth summon issued to him in connection with its investigation into the alleged excise scam. We are giving them replies as per law. Now they have filed a case. ED should wait for the court's judgment before issuing any fresh summons, said Kejriwal. Calling the ED summons illegal, AAP said the matter of validity of ED summons is now in court. ED itself went to court. Instead of sending summons again and again, they should wait for the court's decision. ED sources claim that Delhi CM have been trying to push the matter closer to Lok Sabha polls so that he can cite his campaign commitments to avoid meeting the probe team. He is seeking to run out of the clock, a source said. Maharashtra government will introduce a bill in special assembly session Tuesday to grant 10% quota to Marathas in government jobs and education, said people with knowledge of the matter. The move follows a report submitted by the State Backward Class Commission, which concluded that the Maratha community is socially and educationally backward. A government official explained the government has to ensure that the quota is below 12 to 13% because Bombay High Court had agreed to this figure before the quota was totally scrapped by the Apex Court. The state faces both Lok Sabha and Assembly polls this year amid a sustained agitation by Maratha quota activist Manoj Jaranj. Supreme Court on Monday directed that EC's interim order granting name of Nationalist Congress Party Sharad Chandra Pawar for his faction would continue till further order. Agreeing to hear his plea against EC decision to recognize Ajit Pawar faction as real NCP, Supreme Court issued a notice to poll panel. It asked Sharad Pawar to approach EC for getting a symbol and also directed EC to decide on this within a week after an application is filed. On February 6, EC decided NCP symbol dispute in favor of Ajit Pawar nearly 8 months after he broke away from Sharad Pawar camp to join Shiv Sena BJP government in Maharashtra with 8 NCP MLAs. The Supreme Court on Monday directed states and union territories to act per the definition of forest laid down in its 96 judgment for identifying and preserving forest land and not follow the 23 amendment to the Forest Act, which has allegedly resulted in 1 lakh square kilometer of land getting excluded from forest area. While passing the order which virtually stayed in the amendment of FCA, a bench of Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra also directed that its prior mission will be necessary for setting up any zoo or safari in a forest. The Supreme Court ordered the center to issue a circular notifying all state governments and UTs about these directions. Expressing concern over reports of horse trading of councillors for Chandigarh mayor election, Supreme Court on Monday decided to examine whether the result could be declared on the basis of vote cast on January 30 and directed that the ballot papers, some of which were allegedly defaced with the returning officer, leading to an unexpected BJP win, he placed before it. After invalidation of 8 votes of the AAP Congress coalition, the BJP candidate won 16 out of 12. A bench of Chief Justice G.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra directed that the ballot papers and videography of the polling, which were taken into custody by Registrar General of Punjab and Haryana High Court on its order, he brought before it at 10:30 a.m. अच्छा भैया, क्या हाल है? बढ़िया. AAP candidate Kuldeep Kumar in his petition pleaded for fresh election, but Advocate General of Punjab and Senior Advocate Gurminder Singh submitted that all ballot papers were still valid and the result could be declared on the basis by removing the defacement allegedly done by returning officer Anil Masih. The bench also made it clear to Masih, who was present in court, that he would be prosecuted if it was found that he had interfered in the election process. Supreme Court on Monday refused to entertain a PIL seeking a court-monitored CBI or SIT probe into violence in the West Bengal Sandesh Khali. It said Calcutta High Court has already taken suo motu cognizance of incident and has kept petitioner to approach High Court. Local High Court will be best to assess situation. Let there be no dual forum, Supreme Court said. Petitioner lawyer Alok Srivastav said Supreme Court had formed a panel of 3 former women High Court judges to oversee probe, relief and remedial measures in violence at Manipur. Srivastav alleged disturbing incidents too have come to light in Sandesh Khali, where a number of women claimed that they have been raped. Please don't compare what happened in Manipur with what happened here, Justices B.V. Nagadis and this said. We understand your eagerness and sympathy for victims, but monitoring of an investigation by this court is completely different, they said, adding that High Court could consider transferring case to CBI if it felt so. Keeping Congress guessing about his participation in the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra as it makes a pit stop in Rai Bareli on Tuesday, Samajwadi Party chief and India partner Akhilesh Yadav on Monday upped an ante and demanded that seat-sharing negotiations between the two parties be firmed up first, while Akhilesh's last-minute announcement triggered fresh concerns over the health and stability of the India partnership. SP managers told that an alliance between the two parties was on course and certain, but caveated the statement without the assertion that the outcome of negotiations hinged in whether Congress scales down its demand to 20 to settle for the 17 offered to it. With a formal announcement with still awaited, sources said Congress leader in UP continued to push for a large share of seats in West UP, at least 2 more seats where the party believes it has a strong presence and an ability to win. CM Kejriwal said on Monday that a serious constitutional crisis has arisen in the capital, with the bureaucrats refusing to clear the one-time settlement scheme for disputed water bills, allegedly on the threats and pressure of BJP. Replying to a call attention motion in Delhi Assembly on the matter, Kejriwal urged Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena to direct the officials to implement the scheme or take action against them if they refuse to do so. A serious constitutional crisis has arisen in Delhi. If officials do not listen to government, can the state government run even for 2 days? The CM asked, and BJP is behind all this. BJP is happy when the people of Delhi are sad or ill. BJP wants to destroy Delhi. Later, the assembly passed a resolution requesting Saxena to intervene and get the one-time settlement scheme for redressing faulty water bills implemented. The resolution read, "This House will, while expressing its shock and dismay, request Honorable LG to use his good offices to get these officers to implement his usually pro-people scheme and to suspend them if the officers don't implement it." It also said the House believes that the opposition party BJP, which exercises direct control over the officers of Delhi government and over Honorable LG for narrow, short-term and illegitimate political gains is threatening the officers to prevent the popular government of Delhi from implementing such a hugely necessary and pro-public scheme. Stating that Delhi has fallen victim to dirty politics, Kejriwal said that despite AAP being in government, it is unable to get in its politics implementation. People are getting faulty bills. Those in government are saying this should be rectified. The opposition is saying it should not, he said. Kejriwal said Delhi is said to be a half state, but according to me, it is not even 5% of a normal state. If Delhi had been a full state, no bureaucrat would have dared to bypass the orders given by ministers. They would have been suspended in 2 minutes for sitting for files. The 19-kilometer stretch of Dwarka Expressway in Haryana from Delhi-Gurgaon border to Khedki Dola is set to be open for traffic by the first week of March, just days ahead of the announcement of Lok Sabha polls when the model code of the conduct will come into force. PM Modi is likely to inaugurate the completed stretch and hold a roadshow as well. The remaining portion of the expressway in Delhi is estimated to be completed by June end, though the full benefit of the country's first elevated urban expressway will be realized when the entire 28 km is open for traffic. The inauguration of the corridor in Gurgaon will bring relief to the commuters. Once the entire stretch is completed, 40 to 50% traffic is likely to be shifted to this new road from the Delhi-Gurgaon expressway, which gets choked during morning and evening peak traffic hours. The Dwarka Expressway, also known as the Northern Peripheral Road, starts from Shiv Murti on Delhi-Gurgaon on expressway and will connect Dwarka in Delhi to Gurgaon in Haryana. The road, mostly elevated, ends near Khedki Dola Toll Plaza. The expressway, developed with an investment of Rs 9,000 crore, will also have the longest and widest urban road tunnel in the country, measuring 3.5 km in length and 8 lanes. Although Dwarka Expressway was invased by the Haryana government in 2006 to decongest Delhi-Gurgaon expressway and as an additional link between the two cities, the project remained in shelf due to land acquisition issues. National Highway Authority of India took up the development for the expressway in 2016 after the centre agreed to develop it as NH. The state-of-art highway project will be access controlled with designated entry points on service roads to avoid traffic congestion. It has been designed as an 8-lane grade separated expressway with provision of minimum 3-lane services both on roads on both sides. It also has 4 multi-level interchanges and crossroad underpasses at major junctions. Gusty winds up to 50 km per hour blew during the daytime, and the minimum temperature dipped to 28 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees above normal on Monday. Although India Meteorological Department has predicted light to moderate rain on Tuesday, the Met Department on Monday said there was a possibility of drizzle. The city on Sunday had recorded the warmest day of the year yet, with maximum temperature rising to 29 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees above normal. The day temperature on Monday was 1.5 degrees lower than Sunday's maximum temperature. The minimum temperature was recorded at this Celsius, 3 degrees above normal. Met officials said as strong winds prevailed in the city, it prevented the maximum temperature from dipping. However, the minimum temperature rose on Monday due to cloudy skies. The maximum temperature is likely to hover around this and this from February, this and this. The minimum is forecast to be 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. An active western disturbance has impacted the Himalayan region and will cause rain and snow in hills. Under the influence of the western disturbance, rain is likely to lash parts of the plains, but Delhi NCR may witness only a drizzle. No intense rain activity is expected in Delhi due to the wind patterns, this scientist said. Wind speed is expected to reduce from Monday night, and an average wind speed of 10 to 15 km per hour is likely on Tuesday, Srivastava said. The maximum and minimum temperature could be around this and this respectively on Tuesday after an improvement in the air quality due to the Wind Commission for Air Quality Management has revoked the Graded Response Action Plan Stage 2 measures on Monday. It was in force in NCR from October 21. The AQI was in the poor category on Monday with a reading of 321. The average AQI has remained less than 300 from February 15 onwards. The forecast also indicates that average AQI will stay moderate to poor, CAQM said in a statement. CM Kejriwal has approved signing of a memorandum of understanding between Delhi government, Central and Delhi Metro Rail Corporation for the 3 priority corridors being constructed under the Phase 4 metro expansion. On the 3 corridors totaling 65 km with 45 stations, Janakpuri West RK Ashram is the longest at 29 and 29 km and 22 stations. The Aerocity Tughlakabad corridor, which has 15 stations, will be 23 km. Majlis Park Mojpur is a shorter corridor with 12 km and 8 stations. Majlis Park Mojpur is an extension of the Pink Line, while Janakpuri West RK Ashram is an extension of Magenta Line. The Aerocity Tughlakabad corridor is the Golden Line. Delhi government in a statement said that the signing of the MOU has been approved by the CM and now the project will gain momentum. Due to the MOU, all obstacles in the way of these corridors have been completely removed. It added that CM Kejriwal made a personal effort to clear the way for the MOU. The completion cost is rupees this. Delhi government is also trying to get approval for 3 other corridors pending with central government under phase 4 soon. These are Rithala, Bhawana, Narela, Kundali, this and this. In July last year, DMRC said that had said the proposed Rithala-Narela corridor may probably be extended by the Kundali in Haryana to provide additional connectivity to the neighbouring state. According to the MOU, Delhi government in consultation with DMRC will work together to provide a common mobility card to provide integrated ticketing and seamless travel across all modes and all operators in the NCR. The MOU stated that a traffic information management control center will be set up. To promote sports and to increase the participation of students in such activities, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi plans to start training sessions at its stadiums and playgrounds. Grounds at 7 stadiums and 24 schools will be involved to begin with. MCD plans to develop 2 clusters, each in 6 of the municipal zones from the coming academic session to provide football coaching, posting in each cluster 2 football coaches and 2 assistants. These arrangements will be addition to the training provided in the clusters in the Najafgarh zone. Last year in the Najafgarh zone, 4 clusters were created for providing grassroots level training in sports, said an MCD official. Following the success of the scheme, this year we are keen to extend the facility to 6 more zones of Rohini, West, this and this. In addition to providing regular meals, MCD will also allocate Rs 40 per student for nutritional diets during training. We are also making a provision for their commuting to ensure that the students can come to the training ground without inconvenience, said the official. The move has come after MCD's under-11 football team clinched the first position in Delhi Youth League organized at Motibagh for 2 consecutive years. During the tournament, our students won all matches and scored 50 goals. They even won gold in other competitions such as one organized at Tyagaraja Stadium, claimed the official. MCD plans to establish facilities for other sports too so that students interested in badminton, chess, kabaddi, football, volleyball, table tennis, kho-kho, wrestling, etc. can receive guidance and training. We are working to develop infrastructure in all 12 MCD zones for sports. This year during the Delhi Para-Athlete Meet, 53 of our students with disabilities participated in various competitions and 39 of them won 100 medals. We also give scholarships to students who perform very well in sports, said the official. MCD claimed it was already providing basic training to its students in various sports in its schools and helping them participate in zonal and inter-zonal competitions. Those performing well in the particular sports are scouted by the coaches and provided additional training before enabling their participation in other competitions, said the official. Farmers may have pressed a pause on their march to the capital as talks with the centre continued for the residents of Delhi NCR. Choked borders remain a reality for the second week as heavy police deployment and fortification of the entry points to Delhi continue. The UP Gate border, one of the busiest because of 14-lane Delhi-Meerut Expressway and NH9, witnessed a jam in peak rush hour on Monday morning as thousands of cars negotiated its partially blocked lanes and flyovers where police have parked cranes, cars, buses, trucks and a contingent of personnel. Commuters expressed frustration at the gridlock, which has increased their travel time between Ghaziabad and Delhi, and the unpredictability that has led to reaching office late on the multiple occasions since the border cordons began being drawn last Monday. Raghunath, this and this. Delhi government is organizing an Urdu festival from February 22 to 25 where several artists will perform and experts in the language will participate in debates and panel discussions. One of the events includes an Urdu Ramlila. A theatre group from Faridabad will narrate the mythological tale of Rama's victory over Ravan. A panel discussion on Ramayana Urdu ke आईने में will see Khalid Alvi, Khalid Ashraf, this and this. The upcoming Urdu Heritage Festival is a great example of Delhi's culture. We are actively working to keep Delhi's culture lively. What better setting than the beautiful Sundar Nursery? We have some top artists and unique programs lined up, and I am confident that the people of Delhi will enjoy the festival, Minister Saurabh Bhardwaj said. The festival will be organized for reviving Urdu and encouraging its proliferation through broaden involvement. Engaging a new and wider audience is vital to this mission. This festival will unite all Urdu enthusiasts to relish the beauty of the language in its various artistic expressions. Urdu is a cornerstone of Delhi's cultural and literary legacy and signifies the Moazic culture of the capital. Our government aspires to cultivate an ambience of harmony and affection through such events, an official said. People can enjoy a Sufi night by Indira Naik, this and this. A grand festival will also have Char Baat, a 400-year-old tradition where artists blend verses, melody and rhythm. A Bhopal girls group will perform in this art. अरे वो आवाज फिर ज़्यादा हो जाती ना. China is reportedly pressing ahead with constructions as well as expansion of border villages in disputed territories with Bhutan. Despite ongoing border talks between the two countries, the Hong Kong-based South China Morning Post reported. China has been pressing ahead with its plans to build well-furnished villages on both Indian and Bhutan borders. China's attempts to build a road in Doklam Plateau close to the Siliguri corridor in 17 has resulted in an India-China standoff, which ended only after Beijing dropped its construction plans. The rapid expansion began as a poverty alleviation scheme but serves a dual national security role, the report quoted Chinese Communist Party officials as saying. On December 28, the first batch of people made up 38 households from the Tibetan city of Sigaste moved into the newly expanded Timalung village, the report said, quoting a statement by Tibet Federation of Industry and Commerce. The village is one of the at least 3 built by China inside disputed zone. Local government in Tibet Autonomous Region led a rapid expansion of border villages last year, with Tamalung doubling in size in its latter half of 23, the report stated. Satellite imagery shows 147 new houses. The village expansion was designed to accommodate 235 households in addition to the 200 people who are living there in just 70 homes in 22. To the east of Tamalung, another border village, this also doubled in size last year after 16 square kilometer was cleared to make way for more than 150 houses. Satellite imagery shows new homes sitting next to an existing 4 rows of a dwelling and a Communist Party community center with a small library and other amenities, the report said. China and Bhutan do not have diplomatic relations but maintain contact through periodic visits by officials. While China has resolved its boundary disputes with its 12 other neighbors, India and Bhutan are the only 2 countries with whom it is yet to sign border agreements. In recent years, China has stopped up efforts to establish full-fledged diplomatic ties with Bhutan and to expedite negotiations to settle the vexed border dispute, which was complicated by Beijing's attempts to claim Doklam despite Thimphu's assertions that the area belonged to it. Supreme Court on Monday stayed criminal proceedings against Karnataka's CM Siddaramaiah and other Congress functionaries, including Randeep Surjewala, for holding political demonstration and protests on public road against previous state government run by BJP. Though a bench initially observed that whether politicians could be exempted from criminal proceedings when common people are booked for holding protests without permission, it however agreed to hear their plea after senior advocate this submitted that people have fundamental right to hold peaceful protests and law and order problems could not be invoked as a ground to penalize them. The court issued notice to Karnataka government and respondents on their plea against the order of Karnataka High Court refusing to quash the criminal proceedings. Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi, who was commissioned into 18 Jammu and Kashmir Rifles in December 84 on Monday, took over as the new Army Chief. Vice Chief, he will be the senior most Lieutenant General in the 12 Ladakh Strong Force when General Manoj Pandey retires on May 31. Lieutenant General M.V. Suchendra Kumar, who was commissioned into 1 Assam Regiment in June 1985, in turn replaced Dwivedi as the General Officer Commanding in Chief of the crucial Udhampur-based Northern Command. During this 2-year tenure of GOC in Sea of Northern Command, Lieutenant General Dwivedi provided strategic guidance and operational oversight for planning and executing sustained operations along the northern and western borders with China and Pakistan, in addition to overseeing counter-terrorism operations in J&K. During this period, General Dwivedi was actively engaged in the ongoing negotiations with China in resolving the vexed border issue. He was also involved in modernization and equipping of the Army's largest command, a senior officer said. Laying the foundation stone of the Kalki Dham temple in Sambhal, considered a stronghold of Samajwadi Party on Monday, PM Modi said the wheel of time has turned for India and the country is not following others but setting an example for the world. If temples are being built today, new medical colleges are coming up too. Our pilgrimage sites are being developed and high-tech infra created in the cities, Modi said. Today our ancient sculpture and ancient idols are being brought back from other countries and foreign investment is also coming in record numbers, he added. The PM reiterated his call for Ram Rashtra like Lord Rama. Kalki Avatar will determine the course of thousands of years. God has given me the duty to rebuild a Rashtriya Rupi Mandir, he added. I am confident that Kalki Dham will emerge as another reverse center of faith. We can say that Kalki is the initiator of change in the cycle of time and is also a source of inspiration. Kalki Dham is going to be a place dedicated to the God who is yet to be incarnation, said Modi. This kind of concept regarding the future was written in our scriptures hundreds and thousands years ago. This is amazing, he added. UP CM Yogi Adityanath expelled Congress leader Acharya Pramod Krishnan, and thousands of sadhus and commoners were also present on the occasion. Earlier in the day, welcoming the PM, Krishnam said today saints have gathered from across the country to witness the fulfillment of a dream. During his speech, Modi shared an anecdote with Krishnam, leaving everyone in splits. Krishnam told me that everyone has something to give but I have nothing. I can only express my feelings. It is good that he did not give me anything over. Otherwise, in today's era, if Sudama gave rise to Krishna and a video started circulating, a PIL would be filed in the Supreme Court and the judgment would come that something was given to Lord Krishna as bribe. PM Modi on Monday held up welfare measures rolled out by his government for all sections of society as the real social justice and the real secularism. Our aim is to ensure nobody is left behind in welfare stakes, he said, declaring the arrival of Modi ki guarantee wali gadi in every village, town and city. The PM was speaking at UP Global Investor Summit here. Modi is also taking care of those left uncared by all previous government, he said. In a pitch of local products, the PM urged tourists to spend at least 10% of their travel budget on items produced in the areas they visit. It might not be a big amount for you, but it will transform the economic landscape of that place. Modi referred to the trend of a big fat foreign Indian weddings as an unfortunate tendency among the affluent, leading to many people back up home losing out on potential business. He said wed in India was no way of contributing to the economy. Service to the country does not mean only sacrificing one's life like Bhagat Singh. You can also work for the country and serve it. CM Adityanath said UP had transformed into a land of unlimited potential, going from UP to Udyam Pradesh as the country's emerging growth engine. Recounting PM Modi's advice in 2018 about UP needing value addition in the core sectors, the CM said his government took the proddings seriously and the results were showing in terms of availability of land, human resources and capital. Several regions of Himalayas witnessed snow and rainfall on Monday, bringing down temperature and causing roadblocks and power outages. Met Office predicted this weather to continue till February 22. It snowed heavily in the upper reaches such as Kullu, Kinnur and Chamba. By the evening, Met Office has recorded 5 to 50 cm snow in Kinnur, Manali, Kelong, Udaipur and Lahore Spiti. Rohtang Pass also received heavy snow. In Kukum Seri, Lahore Spiti minimum temperature was dropped to minus 0.5 Celsius. It was the coldest in the Himachal Pradesh. At Atal Tunnel, Kullu police had to stop regular movement beyond Solang Valley after a heavy 4-foot snowfall. Major roads in the Lahore Spiti, especially from Tandi to Udaipur, were blocked by snow. HP Himachal Pradesh received light to heavy rainfall mostly in Manali, Dalhousie, Chamba, Bantur on Monday. With total this rain, the state witnessed 78% higher rainfall than the normal. India has 5 players in the top 100 of the ATP doubles ranking outside of world number 1 Rohan Bopanna. The question then is who among Yuki this and this? To just give it a sum, there's about 700 plus points separating Bamri from Ramkumar. It all goes well, we will have representation in men's double. However, I pick we will be lucky if we got a tournament before the Olympics. Bopanna said of the July 27 to August 4 event to be played at Roland Garros. Of course, I am hoping that they improve their rankings and we can have a chance to play before the Olympics. Bhamri, playing along with veteran side Dutch Robin Hesse, has a tricky opener in the Qatar Open at ATP 250 series event where they are drawn Kazakh Alexander and Dutchman in their opener. I want to give my ranking up to give myself an opportunity, give Rohan something to think about. That's the goal at the back of my head, said Bamri, who has teamed with Bopanna a few times. Bopanna, who kick-started the Doubles Dream of India project with the aim of helping the country's top doubles pros with coaching assistance where they are playing, has fostered a sense of community between the players. With the 43-year-old firmly lodged inside the top 10, India is assured of a spot in men's double draw at the Olympics, provided the 6-4 position. Late India pacer Jasprit Bumrah is likely to be rested while batter KL Rahul is expected to come back with recovering from a quadriceps injury in the 4th test against England beginning from February 23 in Ranchi. Bumrah is the leading wicket taker in the 5-match series with 17 scalps and single-handedly bowled India to victory in the 2nd test. The host led 2-1 in the 5-match rubber. The team will travel to Ranchi tomorrow and Bumrah is likely to be given rest, said an BCCI resource, while also informing that Rahul is nearing full fitness and should be a part of the squad in Ranchi. That is, the decision to rest Bumrah does not come as a surprise considering he bowled 80 overs in the first 3 tests. As part of workload management, India has also rested Mohammad Siraj from the 2nd test in Visakhapatnam before he returned to play a part of India's recorded 434-run win over the visitors in Rajkot on Sunday. India are well placed to seal the series in Ranchi, but if they are not able to do, the home team will desperately need the services of the Bumrah for the 5th and final test in Dharamshala beginning March 7. Rahul, who missed the 2nd and the 3rd test after complaining of back pain in his right quadriceps, had reached 90% fitness last week according to an insider. He is reaching his match fitness and should be available for Ranchi test, the sources said.